Sip happens. Hello, everybody. Welcome to FalBoyz, the
Welcome
podcast.
to the FalBoyz, the podcast. I messed up our own
Episode.
intro.
Wow, episode 3. You got Mega, aka Danny. You got Banana, aka Josh. You got my dog, Piggy, aka the Demogorgon. Who, as
We
soon as we hit start, right to
had to
whatever.
make the sound. And after watching season 1 of Stranger Things,
Uh huh.
she does sound like a Demogorgon.
Just like a Demogorgon.
It is weird.
It's so weird, but it's perfect.
It's
So,
amazing.
what are we talking about today, Josh? Banana, you.
Today, hi, I'm the problem. Um, we're talking about caffeine.
Ooh.
This is a big part of our lives.
So it's a big part of our lives, and we've realized in the last few days, because they've been very long and hard days, how important it is to us. So I
Yes.
think the opening question is, we can go into detail, I guess, on whatever you want. I don't know if we want to talk about coffee and then the other things on how much we like or dislike them, or I think the opening question is, do you like coffee? I think that's a fair opening question.
I do. I love
Okay.
coffee.
We do like
If you
coffee. So
if you
I think to we'll go into that, but now you like coffee, okay. Do you like coffee or do you like need coffee?
hard yes.
Yes and yes?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's elaborate off of these things because this is what sparked our question. You texted me, you were like, "Oh, do you need coffee or do you like coffee?" And I was like, "Yes." That's
Yeah.
exactly it. So
Um,
this is what started our conversation, and now here we go. Welcome,
it's
episode 3.
it's definitely there's definitely the dependency on caffeine. Like I need that caffeine. That doctors, scientists, all that stuff. They say
Sure.
if it's addictive and whatever. Um, so I definitely need that caffeine. But I also just really love coffee. Like I love the taste of coffee. It's great. It's warm. We're in the winter months. I find myself drinking way more than I should right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm totally okay with it. But I do. I love coffee.
Yeah. So I too love coffee. Um I think I don't know if I'm dependent on it. I can go long without it, but I do know if I get to like 2 or 3 p.m. without it, I'm going to have a bit of a headache. So there's probably the withdrawal, but I'm only drinking.
You can't you're not going days without it, just cold
No,
turkey.
I once went 21 days without it and I made it literally by a miracle. Outside of
Yeah.
that, I have never tried again
Yeah, no, that's
because it's
that's
it's too much.
it's rough. Like I used to be able to do, and I was actually just talking to MGS about this, where I would do like cold turkey quits on caffeine, all of
Mhm.
it, all the categories that we spoke about and that we're going to talk about today. And then for like a week or two, and then go back to like just to lower how much I would intake in a day.
Sure.
I can't do it anymore. I tried, like I recently tried, and I was miserable. I maybe made it to like 8 p.m. and then I'm like literally drinking half a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola and then going to sleep. Like I was just like, I need it. Oh, like
So for
I had
me,
the
I'll drink.
worst migraine.
Oh, well, that's just it. Like a caffeine migraine will literally put me out of commission. Like
Yeah,
it's not good.
I'm drinking water though today.
Nice. I realized today we went out to eat real quick because we were doing some shopping. That I asked for water, and I was like, "Man, this is the best water I've ever had." And I was like, "Oh, I've
This,
had not drank any water today." It's
yeah,
only because I haven't drank any. But
I go through moments with that. I'll
oh,
substitute my water for caffeine.
yeah, I was doing real good. I'll start my morning with coffee, and then I'll probably have another cup of coffee after it. I try to throw water in there, especially when I'm in the office. Uh, Back in my youth, at when I used to work at a dealership, I would probably drink 8 cups of coffee a day, and that was fine. I would be up super early. I'd work for 13 hours. I'd come home. I'd fall right asleep. And it was no problem. I can still fall asleep with coffee like at my night table if I needed to.
Yeah, no, me too. I just had a weird memory because I thought of a question. I was gonna ask if you teeter your caffeine of like what style caffeine you drink through the day. Do you have an energy drink or soda or whatever?
I
And
Okay, go ahead. Is there a follow-up question or
the answer for both of us, at least there was a time, is yes.
yeah.
Because during the pandemic, we would kill a pot of coffee in the morning and then have like a Bang or a Monster to get through the yard work that we had to do in the afternoon. Like
Well,
we
okay,
were
so, yeah, yeah.
like
So let's
it's
go
it's
into this.
like
So so I love coffee. I will really only drink coffee. However, yes, during COVID, there was a time where we would. That was the first time. 2020 was the first time I ever had a Red Bull. I stayed away from Red Bull. I would dabble in
love
like
Red Bull.
monsters and stuff. Just because sometimes I wanted that taste, and I'll still do that. If I know, like, if I wake up and I'm like not just feeling something hot, I'll grab a monster.
Yeah.
When that will do it for me. Honestly, if you ever have a terrible migraine, a monster and two Tylenol, it's gone in 10 minutes, dude. It's the
Not
best
doctors,
best thing.
not doctors. Not a medical
No.
recommendation.
Oh, it's not. Yes. Disclaimer, not for you, but also it's for you. It knocked it out in no time. Um. Oh, what's your watch say, bud? Because we're in front of the camera.
Sorry, it was a really long message from someone I was not expecting a text message from. I was just like, "Are we okay?" Like, like,
All right.
uh, it was a dumb question too, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
So
Uh,
back to 2020. So yeah, we went pretty hard. Like we
it,
would
I have to
drink.
say, during that time period, I definitely mixed a lot more
Yeah.
than I ever do. I'm
Yeah.
usually whatever I start my day with is what will be my fix for the day.
Okay.
So if I start the morning with a Celsius, because there's some days I do, and I need another boost, I'm having another Celsius or another energy drink, Red Bull, something like that, which is
Okay.
probably worse than coffee because there's more caffeine.
Yeah. So I did some googling. Coffee usually has anywhere from like 80 to 100, 110 milligrams of caffeine, which is not bad, depending on the size and the brand,
Yeah,
or the roast rather. So you're probably sitting much in there. Red Bull, I think you're sitting around 90, and that's a much smaller can. So if you shoot it and you get 90 milligrams fast, it's gonna happen. One time we drank two Red Bulls back to back, because I think we just wanted to, because it was like a coconut flavor, like
there's the
special.
coconut one.
And
Yeah,
literally, we were done doing the yard work. We went upstairs. You might have went to bed, whatever. And I'm sitting there watching TV with Lizette, and I'm like shaking. And I'm like, babe, I don't feel good. She's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. But I was like, hold me. So we were like this, and she's like, hold me, and I just fell asleep. Now knowing that I definitely drank too much caffeine, and that's what the actual jitters are, because we
yeah,
probably had 200 milligrams in maybe
no
90
time,
minutes
maybe.
tops. So, yeah.
Yeah.
After now I've learned that Bang has so many milligrams
Well,
of
what
caffeine.
I'm very, very interested in that because I used to kill them.
We did. There was a time where we exclusively bought them because they had so many crazy flavors. They have 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Wow, and we
S-
would shoot those. Like they would
Yeah.
not last us very long
No, there
because they
was one
don't taste
time.
good once they're like room temperature. So
Exactly. They
if we
have
were
to be
working
cold.
outside, we drank it faster.
Yeah. There was one time when we drove to Florida, I drank it too fast, and it was nighttime. So I'm like, I'm gonna use this to keep me awake. It did not. I was still exhausted, but like my brain and everything was like
You're
jittering, but
just
my eyes were so
fast.
heavy. I was like, babe, I can't do this. We gotta pull over. I'm like tweaking.
Yeah. Um, but no, I'm big into the caffeine, like all of the caffeine. I feel like the straight caffeine doesn't do anything. Like soda doesn't do anything for me. It's
Uh,
more sugar than anything else.
when we mentioned soda, I forgot all about it. It's all for the sugar.
It's all for the sugar,
Yeah.
which sometimes you still need that rush.
Yeah.
And
I think
then
Coca Cola is perfect for that, especially like a fountain Coca Cola. Ooh.
and then the other thing we talked about that we put a poll up for, and we'll talk about those numbers because
Yeah.
was very happy with the interaction. So thank you,
Yes.
FalBoyz followers, for interacting with us on our story. And now you get to hear us talk about it. So that's great.
Yeah.
Is tea, and I think that is an underrated caffeine source.
It's not my go-to. So honestly, the only time I drink tea is at nighttime. And it's like a mint tea or a chamomile, and I'm drinking it with like a coffee, and I'm about to fall asleep. Not a
Yeah.
coffee,
So
sorry, a cookie.
I've I've been drinking more teas, but also like a cup of Earl Grey tea has almost the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
And like there's like different types of teas and brews, like green teas, all that stuff that have caffeine in it. And for me, that's like sometimes I've kind of been like teetering where that's like my second cup.
okay,
Like I'll have, you know, a latte or something like that in the morning because I'm bougie.
yeah,
Um, and then I'll have like tea in the afternoon. and like it's a good pick me up, but it's not as much as like the as like a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it's just more calming. Like I drink a cup of coffee and I feel like I need to get up and do something.
I feel like tea is automatically soothing. I don't know why. I think because I mean, I could drink coffee pretty hot, but there's something about tea where you can really only drink it almost when it's scalding. Like it's the only
Yeah,
times you can
and
drink
it
it.
just warms your whole body. And it might be a winter thing. Come the
Maybe.
come the come the summer, I might be like, I don't like tea. Tea's stupid.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like right now, I'm like really catching like the tea vibe.
There's a few times I'll drink tea throughout the day, and it's really just because I'm too lazy to make another pot of coffee. It's
Yeah,
so much easier to just push the water that's already on, to just push it to get hot and then just pour it in a cup. Like, that's it.
yeah. I have like you. I have my coffee pot, and then I have the hot water electric kettle right next to it,
Hmm.
and I always keep the hot water kettle full.
Yeah. It's the only way to
Like
do it.
I make, and then I'm just that way. I just walk over, like dink. I know in like 2 minutes, I got boiling hot water and
Yeah.
make my tea.
So with Lizette, she likes an Earl Grey. She also loves matcha. That is a
I love
tea
matcha.
that is not. I'm sure there are ways to have it, but to me, I'd rather rub my tongue on the ground. That tastes better to. That's exactly what matcha tastes like to me. It's
I
pretty like yeah, no thanks.
I I like matcha. Lately, I've been liking it, but at the the coffee shop I go to, um, can I say the name of it? I don't even know. Does it matter?
Yeah, why not?
So the Barista's Touch. He does a really good matcha, but I always get it with vanilla and almond simple syrup,
Okay.
and it totally changes the flavor.
Mm.
But
Less
like
earth.
it's still a solid, strong matcha,
Hmm.
but it's like softer. Like it's not as rough.
Not as earthy.
Yeah, I guess. I
Okay.
mean, it's still dirt, but like it's better dirt.
I don't know.
I
I'd
don't
have to
know.
try it.
And
I don't know.
it's really good. Like I always say, like, oh, I gotta get one, and take it to Lizette because I know she'll really love it. And just like, or just gotta like watch the kids for a little bit so you could go and take her to get a cup of matcha.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it's definitely like the best matcha I've had.
Okay,
But
I'm down.
again, that is he does it iced. I could only have it hot. I do not like iced
Ooh.
matcha.
Okay, lady likes iced matcha. I don't think she normally cares for the hot. I don't think.
I've had it iced from him.
Uh-huh.
I learned I don't like iced matcha.
Okay.
I feel like iced matcha tastes more earthy than hot matcha.
Okay.
Because
To me, it's all dirt, dog.
the first time I ever had hot matcha was at Barista Touch.
Okay.
So it was in the last month or two. I've always ever just had it iced because that's always how Lizette got it. I've only ever had matcha because of her.
Yeah.
And huge difference. He also is really big on the chai, and I love chai.
Um, I like a chai tea. I used to love Dunkin' Donuts vanilla chais.
Vanilla
Oh my
chai,
god, I would
so
drink that
good.
all the time.
Those were so sweet,
So good.
so good.
So we could talk
Um,
about this. We could talk about where do you get your coffee? Like, what's your preference?
I'm
Because
a
I know
wild
this is a
card.
discuss. Yeah, you really are a wild card. You can pretty much get a coffee anywhere. But
I
do you have a preference?
um Yeah, so for me, my preference right now and foreseeable, just because I've become friends with the company, is Barista's Touch.
Okay.
Like everything he does is super high standard, but he doesn't have like super high standard price. He's super fair. So I could go there and I know I'm not spending Starbucks money
Sure.
on it, and I'm getting a 10 times better cup of coffee,
Yeah.
whether it's drip, cold brew, something fancy or something bougie or a Fredo or a shaken espresso, it doesn't matter. His menu is beyond bougie. Um, but I know I could go there and it's also the experience. Like even if I'm there for a few minutes, like we're having a good time, we're catching up and like we're like friends now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't always have time for that and he's not open 24/7. So it kind of varies, depends on my time of day. When I leave
Hmm.
for work at 4:30 in the morning, he's not there.
Sure. And he shouldn't be.
We've honestly been stopping at 7-Eleven
Okay.
in the early morning. Our first cup of coffee is usually 7-Eleven. That's also why I've been getting tea in the morning because 7-Eleven doesn't have a non-dairy option for milk.
Oh, really?
Correct. Their non-dairy option is their coffee creamers, which is lactose free which is
But
International Delight,
yeah.
and
Okay.
that's not real
Let's
creamer.
talk about this. Let's talk
So
about this. um
so
Go ahead, proceed. Talk about
I
International
just I
Delight.
just I it's slimy,
Yeah. We're not gonna bash the company, but I too do not prefer International Delight.
but just like, what is it? Like lactated milk.
Hmm.
It has a different texture than real milk because it's over pasteurized. That's how they do it with the cream, so that it doesn't have as much lactate. It's not considered lactose free, but it's over pasteurized, so it doesn't really contain lactate,
Yeah.
and it changes the texture of it. I'm not here for it. Some
Yeah.
people love it, and that's fine.
Yep.
I'm not a fan.
My parents love it. I like Coffee Mate. I prefer Coffee Mate.
I think
Um,
Coffee Mate's good.
yeah.
I actually just got a new. I like their Natural Bliss selection that
It's
they
pretty
dropped.
good. Yeah, I like it.
Um, they just released oat milk in the Natural Bliss. So
Okay.
I just got one of those. I'm pretty excited to try it. Haven't tried it yet. Um, but yeah, I also could just drink black coffee. So there's that.
Same. So when it comes to just drinking a black coffee, though, for me, my preference is always Dunkin' Donuts. I cannot do a black coffee at Starbucks or just because it's just different. Um,
Yeah,
to me, I just prefer Dunkin' Donuts coffee. After doing some Googling, Dunkin' Donuts actually has stronger coffee than everyone out there, which I was confused by because everyone's like, "Oh, Dunkin' Donuts is watered down." It's definitely not watered down. I don't know what these
according
people are
to
talking about.
the internet, it's not.
Yeah. Unless Dunkin' Donuts is paying all the Google people off to say, hey, don't say that we're watered down. If they did, they did a great job because I cannot find any articles other than people bashing
Yeah.
them verbally.
No,
But I
I,
I I love Dunkin'.
you know what it is though, as I've learned more about coffee. I did go to like coffee school, which we'll never get into that because it was a terrible time.
Also, you
Um,
can never do anything with that, but proceed. I mean, I'm sure you
uh,
could actually.
I could
It's
get a job at
2023.
Starbucks.
You could
Like,
definitely.
uh,
If you did this
uh,
job, if you went to school 15 years ago to be a barista, they'd be like, sir, that's
it's
silly. But now you could be a barista. That's like me going to school for music 15 years
yeah,
ago, and now it's like, sir, that's silly. Exactly. We're in the
like,
same boat. How the tides have turned.
um, but I don't even know where to go with that. Anyway,
You went to coffee school.
coffee.
We won't talk about that.
When it- So I think it's the roasting process that makes the taste different. So Starbucks has a longer roast period,
Yeah.
at least according to taste. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I
Yeah. It was
haven't researched it.
the rumors were they double roasted or whatever. So
Yeah, I believe they double roast it, so it's gonna taste stronger. But the more you roast coffee, the less concentrated the caffeine is in it.
mm,
So the bean itself raw might contain way more caffeine than a Dunkin' Donuts bean raw.
but they've
But
already yeah.
because it's double roasted, it's not. But that's why their strongest coffee, and what most people don't know because it tastes so light, is a blonde roast. But
I
that's gonna have the
yeah.
most caffeine.
Yeah. I
But
don't care.
it's not gonna taste strong at all,
Yeah.
and barely taste like coffee. It's like literally dirty water, but that's gonna be your most caffeine.
I've tried Starbucks, not because like I want to, mostly because like out of necessity. Like if we go away, like when we go to Disney, they only have Starbucks. At least in Magic Kingdom, like in the front, they only had Starbucks. Now they started doing like their own cold brew. Their cold brews are so good. I forget who makes it, but it's actually like won awards. It's very good.
I
Um,
love cold brew.
yeah. Oh god. So over the summer I was pretty hard into cold brew and sweet foam at Dunkin'. And the sweet foam that you got, I actually really like, but
I was gonna ask, is it good?
it's very similar to just a regular whipped cream. It's
So
slightly a little bit more sweeter.
I know we just talked about like the dairy process, the dairy stuff. I'm having a hard time with it, but I sacrifice every once in a while for the cold foam at Barista Touch because he makes it fresh to order.
Mhm.
But the only way to get the right consistency is to use like 2% milk.
Okay.
I want to like die every time, but there's some days where I'm just like, no, I need that
I need
cold
it.
brew. I need that cold brew with, some cold foam with a little bit of like your vanilla simple syrup in the cold foam. That way it's flavored. And I won't add any extra sugar besides the simple syrup.
Oh no, I never add sugar to my sweet foam.
And
Like to me that's enough.
because it's not sweet foam, it's just cold foam. You can
Yeah.
make it sweet by picking a flavor, which I love. Because then
I
you could
really
do
got to go.
whatever. whatever flavor you want.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is amazing. But at the same time, like the second I'm done drinking the cup, I'm like, I'm gonna die now. Like,
So
but it's worth it.
what did we talked about? Coffee, tea, energy drinks, and so we talked about all four. Soda we barely touched on. But honestly, it's probably the thing there. Let me tell you this. I don't know if you ever knew this. There was a time of my life for probably about 10 years. I did not drink soda or eat chocolate.
Mm,
It was
eh,
so I
that's
was
good.
it was I mean, looking back at pictures, I was deathly skinny. I don't think this is all just chocolate and soda weight. I think it's because I've gotten older and I now my metabolism doesn't work like it used to. But yeah, there was a time I think it was like maybe it started in like eighth grade or something, and I mean, naturally, you're in high school, puberty, you get pimples, and I hated them. And it was always like, "Oh, you eat too much sake, you eat too much soda, drink too much soda." And
So
I was like,
you
"I don't,
just
I don't
quit.
do that. I just cut it cold turkey." And it got to a point to where I was like, "I can do this forever." But then I tasted a Reese's Pieces again. Oh my god,
All
the
downhill from there.
floodgates open, dude, and then a Sprite, and I was like, "What have I been missing?" So now it's not that I do it all the time, but if I want to have a
You
soda,
want it.
I will have a soda.
You have a soda, yeah.
I had a small Coke the other day, Coca-Cola from McDonald's. Chef's kiss.
McDonald's has the best fountain drinks.
For sure. For sure.
We'll just give them that. And honestly, their coffee's not bad.
Not bad. Not my
The Mc
favorite, but not bad. I
the
prefer it over
McCaf
Starbucks.
but like on a road trip, you see a McDonald's, you know you're gonna get a decent cup of coffee.
Yes. You know
And
what's
I
really
think
good
that's important
coffee?
to know.
Pilot. I don't know if you've ever been to a Pilot. There's the one on the way down to work, which you really don't need to ever hit up, but their
No.
coffee is so
I
good.
I was gonna say I've been to that one once.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I bought coffee. I don't remember what it tastes like. I just remember forgetting I bought it. And by the time
Mm.
I got to it, it was cold, so it wasn't great.
They have a house blend drip. Okay, so I don't know if that one does, but the other ones that I pass on my
Yeah.
road trips have it. I would imagine that one does too. It's the same thing.
Yeah, they all should be the same.
Oh my god, it is actually very good. It rivals, I don't know, some of the best cups of coffee I've ever had. When I
Yeah,
take road trips though, I don't try to drink coffee because we're waking up in the middle of the night and I'm just grabbing like a monster because I don't want to get out and pour a cup of
yeah.
coffee.
But I think a lot of those truck stops and stuff like that though, like big gas stations like that, they're sleeper spots.
Yeah,
Because like people that are hitting those up, they're truck drivers and stuff that are driving all night long. Like they need a good cup of Joe.
it
Like
needs to be good, and it is
and
good.
they're hitting the market.
Yeah.
But that's why I think like 7-Elevens aren't terrible. Um
If you
Wawa's
love
not too
international
bad.
delight.
Wawa's not bad.
Mhm.
I don't like quick check coffee too much.
I've tried so many times with Quick Check. I don't think it's the coffee. I can probably drink that one black or a little more, but the milk and creamers really don't do it for me.
Yeah. I like they have like an extreme caffeine
Mhm.
blend.
Mhm.
I like that with like 3 teaspoons of honey.
Yeah, I would never try that.
And then it just softens it. It doesn't really
Yeah.
make it taste like honey.
Yeah.
And but like that I'll drink. Other
Well,
than
to
that,
take
I'm
care of
like,
the
meh.
bitterness, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm like mid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Eh, Um, but I do go to like a lot of like the small coffee shops and like the barista spots and stuff like that. Like there's a little coffee shop right down the street from me
Mhm.
that they're actually really good. Like really good and they're really fair price. So I'm like, oh, nice. And like you go there and get like a panini or an empanada and
With
a
your coffee?
cappuccino with your coffee. Like why
Super
not?
random.
They have a very diverse
Eclectic.
menu
Yeah.
and I'm here for it. And it's literally like a 2-minute walk down the way. So
Sweet.
um I've been there a couple times since I moved over here. We can check that place out too one day.
Yeah. Well, I need you to babysit my kids so I can go get a drink with my wife. So,
Yeah, I
and
gotta do
that
that. I
being
gotta figure
coffee
it
and
out.
matcha. So,
Yeah,
cool.
it's
So,
there's
I think that's. I mean, what else? Do you have any closing remarks? What did you just want to say before I cut you off so rudely?
the one other thing I wanted to say, which would make sense for people like us, and for probably a lot of people out there, is um how coffee
Hmm.
affects people differently,
Sure.
and how some people could sleep right after. And I just wanted to like mention this to kind of poke at your nerves a little bit because you don't like talking about it. Is that people with ADHD are very affected differently by coffee. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it makes us feel tired. And that's because our brain is already overstimulated and kind of just balance it out. And I fell into a deep rabbit hole on this today in like the 20 minutes that I had free on that. So like there really is no limit to the amount of caffeine your brain can have, but you definitely got to be careful with how much you coffee like the rest of your body can
Oh, your
handle.
heart will
Uh,
explode. It has been
so
on the
like
news many times in recent history.
so it's like just keep that in mind, especially if you have ADHD out there, just because it's messing with your brain or not messing with your brain and not giving you that burst of energy.
Yeah.
Still be a little mindful over that. I've definitely been known and accused of, and they're right after researching it, of self-diagnosing my ADHD or self-medicating my ADHD with caffeine. And I've been a lot more aware of that. So for anyone out there, be mindful.
Well, now that you've mentioned it, I'm gonna try to remember it because we've talked about it before. I don't want to believe it. I believe the science there. I just don't want to believe that I have ADHD. I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
why
more
I
of it.
really wanted to mention it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for that little tidbit, and to make me sleep just fine. The so, sidetrack. The girls were asking like, sleeping and like all the like, do you have dreams? And I was like, nightmares don't last forever. And I was like, well, don't ask me because I never remember my dreams. And then we went off into a tangent. But this might be another podcast. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
I like where
remember
this is
dreams.
going.
I have a few awkward dreams that I remember, but honestly, every night I close my eyes and every morning I wake up, there's nothing in between. We can
I
talk
like
about
that
this later.
because I like that because I'm the polar opposite on
I
that scale.
know. That is a family trait that you guys have. The most vivid
Um,
dreams, and they're
the
insane.
they're wild.
All right, cool. We'll talk about that another time. Guys, thank you so
Sounds
much
good.
for hanging out. This was a great episode 3. We talked about, wow, 27 minutes
Of
about coffee.
caffeine.
I'm all about
Guys,
it. Okay, it wasn't
comment
just coffee.
below
You're right. It was
what you
caffeine.
like.
Yeah.
Like, what is your caffeine fix, or are you like
Or is
no
your body a
caffeine?
temple and you don't need it?
Mm. Cause that's okay.
Because then I don't believe you. There's no way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not like you're wrong,
You're
but
lying, but whatever. All right. So with that being said, follow us on all of our socials. We also stream on Twitch at least twice a week. Every Sunday we play Mario Kart. So feel free to hang out with us. There's my dog saying goodbye. I don't know if you heard that, but she
I
says I love
did.
you. So all
I
right,
heard it
guys.
that time.
Banana Josh, would you like to Banana Josh? Whatever. Hey, you on the other guy side of the screen. Would you like to say any closing remarks?
No, I'm good. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again. Comment other topics that you want us to talk about. Comment your caffeine fix, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. We love you. I just took Josh's ending, so sorry, guys. Let's try that again. Hey, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And as always,
We love you.